very good evening. Leading our news tonight, the 2019-2020 national budget is tentatively scheduled to be announced on the 19th of June. Premier and Minister for Finance Sir Toke Talangi confirmed the budget will be announced in June. According to the budget timetable, the final draft of the budget will be submitted to Cabinet for approval next Thursday, the 6th of June. The budget is scheduled to be tabled in the Assembly on the 19th of June for the first reading by the Minister for Finance and will be referred to the Public Accounts Committee. On the 10th of July, the report by the Public Accounts Committee will then be tabled in the Assembly. Officials from the Pacific Island Forum Secretariat are currently on the island engaging in discussions with stakeholders. Two officials have met with representatives from government, the private sector and civil society as part of preparatory work for the renewal of their Pacific Regionalism Framework. Established in 1971 by treaty and made up of 18 member countries, the Forum Secretariat is an international organization whose role is primarily policy advice, coordination and ensuring the effective implementation of forum leaders' decisions. The Pacific Regionalism Framework, inclusive of the voices of all Pacific people, sets out the strategic vision, values, objectives, approaches to achieve deeper regionalism in the Pacific. The framework guides the regional organization and endorsed by the forum leaders. Discussions today raised the notions to engage in more than governments, but the private sector, civil society organizations and youth, and harnessing greater public-private partnerships, acknowledging the power of advocacy among such groups. The prominent standing agenda items of climate change and fisheries management at foreign meetings were also discussed today. Over the next week, there will be 26 yachts with 80 adult crew members and 14 children arriving in Niue. These sailors are part of the World Arc, a round-the-world adventure taking place over 15 months and covering 26,000 nautical miles. Seen here, some of the sailors have already arrived. The sailors traveled from Suwaro, an island in the northern group of the Cook Islands, and will then sail to Vavau in Tonga. This is the 10th annual visit for the World Arc sailors. A rare finding, perhaps the first on Niue, has been made of a frogfish seen at Seapa Point. The frogfish, which is a master of camouflage, is often covered with spots, stripes, warts, skin flaps and filaments. The frogfish mimics substrate and structures like algae-covered rocks or rubble plants like sargassum weed or algae, and animals like tunicates, corals and sponges. Buccaneer Adventures Operations Manager Tom Pegram reported the finding to BCN News yesterday when the discovery was made. During their routine dive, Tom said that he'd noticed a stationary rock but with eyes, and upon closer inspection, sure enough, the rock was not a rock but a frogfish. It is not understood who has a species database here in Niue, but the Niue Dive are happy to insert it into Niue's whale sightings and rare species app that's currently under trial at the moment for Apple. Seapa also is perhaps one of Niue's least explored biodiversity hub, having also beyond 30 meters revealed species not seen in other parts of Niue. And finally, the development of a marine mammal sighting and rare species app is currently being tested by Oma Tafua, Niue's NGO who is responsible for its creation. While the app was hoped to be launched last year, owing to the many commitments and late release of a trial last year, the NGO states it wasn't a prime time to be trialed late in the season. The app has been supported via the UNDP GEF Small Grant Scheme, having successfully been awarded to Oma Tafua over a year ago. Oma, alongside 4 other civil society and village community groups, were recipients of the Small Grant Scheme. The dive companies have been approached to help test the app for dolphin sightings, mock marine mammal species and rare species, including the most recent find of the frogfish. This is outside the humpback whale season, therefore the sightings are mocked for examination and the testing of information received prior to the humpback season this year. And that's BCN News for tonight. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.